Hello and welcome back to the Coking.com channel. I am Evan Hyde, your host, and I am on the shop floor with my friends at MIAM and Kanan Fontenot with MIAM. So, Kanan, just briefly introduce yourself to our audience, please.
I am with MIAM North America. We're a distributor for MIAM GmbH, our factory out of Germany, and we manufacture specialty severe service valves, everything from Coker switch valves, overhead line, and feed line valves. Part of our line is this product right here. It's called the InnoMAT. It's a very specialized gearing system that we utilize for our lift and turn plug valves. I'll kind of get into it a little bit. Basically, our valves are pretty unique in that they have an all-metal plug, all-metal body, and consequently, because of those metal-to-metal contacts, we don't want to rotate just straight quarter turn. So the first movement of any of our lift and turn plugs is in fact a lift. It turns and then goes back down and reseats in the body. This is our InnoMAT product. It's a special lift and turn gearing mechanism that fits onto our existing InnoCON valve or can be retroed to other lift and turn plugs. The design itself is fairly simple. Consists of 3 cylinders. The first cylinder is what we call the stem cylinder.
Let's hit it back there for you.
Stem right here, connected to this axle right here. The interior cylinder that you see right here, we call it the gear cylinder. It attaches to the gear head. And the exterior cylinder is our stroke limiter or guide cylinder.
So this is basically the same component that you see in the background, but you just removed that external cover so that we can see the action.
Exactly. This is our demo piece that we take around to our clients, making sure they understand exactly how it works and get a good view of the internals.
So I'm going to start rotating it, and if Kanan, you can kind of do a little description as we're going.
Sure. The gear cylinder is actually rotating this. The gear is rotating the gear cylinder here. This gear cylinder has a ramp on the interior, and as the ramp cycles over, it creates vertical movement of the axle here, which is attached to the stem of the valve. So obviously we've elevated and lifted the valve. Once this reaches its apex, the gear axle here rotates over.
So now it's sort of reaching the end of its stroke.
It rotates quarter, and now that upper part of that ramp is going to cycle across the top and force that axle down, forcing the plug into the body and seating off.
And all that motion was accomplished me just doing this one movement here at the top, and all the magic is happening in these carefully designed internal elements.
Yeah, it's very, very simple, easily automated, very rugged in design, and simple to maintain. Of course, as you mentioned, it's got a completely sealed cover. So basically it's fully greased. We install it. You shouldn't actually have to touch it until your regular outage time frame as a PM. But we've had these in existence for 10 to 13 years now, I think. And they've gone hundreds and hundreds of cycles. We've tested them to over 1,000 cycles in the shop. They come out looking great. And in fact, the torque or force load that they're capable of actually increases over the course of time because the gearings, the cylinders kind of wear in.
Yeah.
But that is another nice feature about the unit. Depends on the design of the valve, of course, but a lift and turn plug actually doesn't have a flat torque or force requirement. Because it lifts, it actually requires quite a bit of force to get out of the body. Then once it's elevated, it's essentially free floating. So torque or force requirements drop off the page until you actually go back down in the seat. The design of the unit itself is built to mimic the force requirement of the valve it goes on.
Okay.
So it works quite well. Again, it's very easily automated. In fact, most of our InnoMATs, we have probably 500 here in North America installed, and they're almost exclusively automated.
Yeah.
So ease of automation, reliability, repairability over the course of time, those are all in the forefront of our design.
Interesting. Well, I think, for those of us who've been around the coking business for a long time, we remember that in the early days of delayed coking, plug valves were very common, right? And I think one of the reasons why, as an industry, we went away from the plug valves is because the sort of the Achilles heel of that design was always the lift and turn mechanism. And now with these newer designs that we're showing here, it's become much more robust. And, the prevalence of the plug valve in our industry, I think, is just, becoming more and more common.
That's that. You're right on the money there. That actually was the impetus for the design of the unit. The lift and turn plug itself is very rugged, very robust, durable, long-lasting, but it was an issue for automation. And as things became more and more modernized, automation became more and more of a headache and caused a lot of issues for folks working with those older designs. This unit was designed with that in mind. Mm-hmm. So we actually do a lot of retrofit onto older existing valves, extending life tremendously. And in fact, we have several customers who have automated their older valves and then come back years down the road, and actually, instead of revamping everything, they simply remove the gearing system and install it onto a newer body.
Okay.
So it's very cost effective over the course of time.
Okay. Interesting. Well, I want to say thank you, Kanan, for explaining to us how the InnoMAT works. Hopefully you guys at home learn something. I know every time I do one of these videos, I learn something. So I want to say thank you.
Thanks, Evan.
To our friends at MIAM for showing us how this works. And come back to the coking.com channel for all things delayed coking, and we'll see you soon.